I want to welcome you all today, this very special day for Melissa and Kaylee and her mom, Geraldine, who's not with us today, but will be with this house very shortly. A day of realizing that the hopes and dreams for Melissa and her family are coming true. And it's the time of giving, and I want to thank you for giving all that you've done to make this happen for this wonderful family. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Reverend Paul Macaulay. Oh, I'm Donna Baldwin. I'm the president of the board. I'm sorry. But anyway, I'd like to turn it over to Reverend Paul Macaulay.
Oh, there's no method, but that's okay. Just Cullity.
Cullity? Okay.
So many faces in this room have become familiar over the months of being involved in this project because everybody gathers at different schedules, and so we have collided with each other in many ways and at different times. And especially at this season of year, we're all very mindful of the changing climate, and a good place to go to as the winter gets to us is really a wonderful gift for us to have. Habitat, as almost all of you know, began and lives as a faith-based organization. And this is not to sell anything, but just to say that it exists because of the hope and dreams and promises that happen through people who believe in what they're doing. And I think that experience of believing in what happens is something that infects, and this is a repeat for some of you who saw me on Thursday this week, and they didn't even believe that this was a real thing, but I brought documentation today because I said that what happens at Habitat sites is contagious, and if you're not careful, you could get infected with it for life. Millard and Linda Fuller, in talking about their experience of Habitat, talked about habititis. People can't stop. Once you start, unfortunately, this horrible addiction sets in. And I want to tell those of you who are new to Habitat, there is no cure. So this may be something that changes your life as well, and has to be born and lived with, or there's no escape. So find yourself in projects like this, summer after summer, year after year, decade after decade, as hundreds of thousands of people find places to live because of this infectious thing that has plagued all of the people in this room. To Melissa and her family, this is a wonderful moment. This is an opportunity to have a place that is truly their own and to plant seeds of promise and hope for the next person who needs a place to live here in Wellfleet.
What a beautiful spot that the town donated to this family to have.
To come to this day, it starts way before Habitat is involved. It starts with there being the political will and the will of the heart in the town. And so I'd like to turn to Dal Donovan, one of the Board of Selectmen.
A meeting of our housing authority in what seems like many years ago, and they were desperately trying to find a lot to build a Habitat house. And it was so amazing the amount of work and time that they had put into it up to that point to try, in essence, to find a gift and a place for it. But I think it shows that in any kind of housing endeavor like this, there are so many different abilities and skills that come up and are needed. And perhaps the principal one, and certainly the Housing Authority and Habitat people would know this far better than I, the principal ones are dedication and stamina. Really pleased to be able to be a part of this, a very small part, because the big part is all of the people that really have made this happen. And we're delighted to have you in a new neighborhood in Wellfleet, and we hope you're very happy here. I learned that people that I had known for some time were in some of the original Habitat houses in the town of Wellfleet, and I think it's just as you see the shingles on our Cape Cod homes weathering beautifully, and you forget about the newness of them. Those people cease to be people who live in Habitat houses, but simply good neighbors, friends, and members of our community. So we'll look forward to having you here.
The affordable housing community in Wellfleet did really the spade work and the early work to bring us to this day, and stayed with this project in many ways all the way through today. And how lucky are we that there's someone who's such a great advocate and worker for affordable housing as Mary Fontanarosa, but is also like a fabulous premier food coordinator. Mary actually is not here to give cooking tips. She's here representing the Affordable Housing, the Housing Authority and the Affordable Housing Committee for the town of Wellfleet. I want to say something about neighbors because, you know, there's been a little bit of controversy, so I might as well say it from a couple of neighbors about design and this and that, but in fact, the neighborhood has been tremendously welcoming in many ways. Richard, I want to thank you. You're down below. He allowed us to use his driveway for parking early in the project. Has been very supportive. I received a note from the neighbor right down below here saying, so sorry I can't be at this dedication, but I look forward to welcoming Melissa, you know, and the neighbor, and having her as a neighbor. And I know somebody else who couldn't attend dropped something off for the dedication today. So really, Wellfleet's been welcoming. The neighborhood has been very welcoming, and it's been a special thing. So we're really happy to be here. I want to mention also, you'll see in the donors that aside from the donation of land, the Town Community Preservation Committee was very generous with this project. And there was also, it's not an organization, but we refer to it as the Wellfleet Circle of Friends. There were a number of individuals who reached out to each other, reached out to their congregations, and donated generously for this house. So not only did we have the donors that we have, you know, throughout the Cape that give no matter where we are building, but there were some wonderful people in the town of Wellfleet that made, you know, really special effort to donate to this house. I would like to introduce Hillary Green, who's our coordinator of volunteer services.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming. I'm the office person for volunteers, so I work with trying to get lead volunteers, and this year we had 6 separate sites. So I thought, wow, what a challenge. But fortunately, people like Joanne Broderick stepped forward, who was our individual volunteer coordinator for the 8 Habitat homes at Gomes Way last year. And she decided to do it again, this time for 3 homes. Wellfleet and the 2 Dennis houses. So Joanne, as Mary mentioned, does an awesome job for us. I want to thank her. And we also have another 2-hatter here today. Kathleen Nagel, I saw you were, oh there you are, was not only our registration coordinator, which means she was in charge of getting at least 1 or 2 people to welcome the volunteers every build day. She also is the family partner, which you'll hear more about later. So thank you, Kathleen, for all you've done. General Jimmy Dishner was our devotions coordinator, who did such a great job. In fact, he and Paul are doing next week, and they've really done yeoman's labor and had a lot of great support from the community for devotions. So thank you very much, Jimmy. Great job as devotions coordinator. And Phil Mitchell is the head of our Church Relations Committee, of which Jimmy serves also, and has worked with all the devotions coordinators. So as you can see, this is the end result of people hammering and painting and all of that, but behind the scenes and on site in front of the scenes are people like Mary and Jimmy and Paul and Kathleen and Joanne, and some of them work too, building, but we could never do this without the volunteers. So I want to thank everybody for everything you've done. And on to the next one.
Mike Williams, might you like to have a word?
First of all, I just want to say congratulations to Melissa and Haley for your new home. And thanks so much for Bruce tolerating me. He put up with the most of me, and a lot of you other volunteers quite a bit. I know I can be a little over the top sometimes, but I think it's all these little pieces. If we look around the room and we just take a little piece from every person here, they all come together and we keep building homes. And we'll look forward to doing this for many, many, many years to come. And I just want to say thanks for the people who put up with my personality over the top and built these houses. And I want to say thank you so much to everybody. We've done a beautiful job.
Bruce. He's hiding over there.
He's back there.
So Bruce not only put up with my site, but he also actually led construction on this house. Bruce, did you want to, first I wanted to say thank you, Bruce.
Building the house was the easy part.
Enough said, is that okay?
I think we'll leave.
Okay, thank you. Under the local project team, Jake, you should have been recognized. Jake Ketchum and Judy Taylor were good enough to be our local liaisons and to make the drive down from Wellfleet down to our office in West Yarmouth in our early planning stages until they felt that we were safely well into construction and that they could, especially because the meetings continued into the summer, we would check in with them before and after meetings. But thanks for that participation. It can be confusing for someone jumping right into it. You're selected for a home, and right away there's courses to take with us, there's sweat equity to do that has to be done by the end of the house, and Kathleen's the one that kind of guided her individually in that process, so thank you, Kathleen.
I always seem to get the best part of the meeting because I'm the one that always gets to introduce the family. And when we kicked off way back, many months ago, I was the one that got to do that at the Congregational Church. And when my old friends at Habitat asked for me to partner with Melissa for this build, I had no idea of all the great new friends I would make through Habitat and how fortunate I would be to have Melissa and her family, Kaylee and her sister Tiffany, and certainly her mom to become part of my world. So it has been a pleasure for me to be their Habitat family partner, and I am very pleased to congratulate and introduce Melissa Brown and her daughter Kaylee.
What do you say? Thank you is not enough. I am overwhelmed at the wonderful people I've met. Kathleen, Bruce, Mr. and Mrs. Cullity, everyone. And there are so many people who I will remember you forever, but probably blank on your name. But it is such a remarkable experience. I wish I could share it with everyone, and that everyone could have this experience. It's overwhelming, and thank you is not enough, because everyone who's been here and helped and given support and listened to Sana's, it's more than a house. You know, when the foundation of a house goes in, it's the foundation of a family. And I thank you for that, because it is the foundation of this family. And you have given that to us, and it's in the walls, the energy and the love and the faith, and thank you. Even though I forgot the Bible, we also present to each homeowner this year a handmade beautiful quilt. There's a group of volunteers called the Habitat Penny Quilters, who for each house are custom making a quilt. And this one is made by Jean Collins. All right, I'm in the back. Most of you know her as a construction volunteer, so it's an interesting switch. But Melissa, here's your handmade quilt from the Habitat Penny Quilters. It is beautiful.
I'll give my time, I'll write a check, I'll hammer nails, I'll build respect. Helping out, that's where it's at, till everyone has a habitat. I'll give my time, I'll write that check. Hammer nails, build respect. Helping out, that's where it's at, till everyone has a habitat.